Hey everyone, Michelle Opperman here with FitPros, and we're so excited to be your wellness providers. Today I'm going to take you through stretching for good posture. So excited to share this with you. Let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start on the edge of our mats, or if you don't have a mat, wherever you are, in the carpet or a towel. First and foremost, just want you to check in with your body, right? So posture a lot of times has to do with your hips and your upper body and how those two areas work together. So we're going to start first with some roll down. So just standing up nice and tall, take a moment to close your eyes first and just connect to where you're noticing where you might have more of your weight, whether it's in the right foot, the left foot, whether your hips are tilted forward or they're underneath you. And again, just being aware and noticing where you are, where your head is, where your shoulders are. And then let's just start with some roll downs, okay? So pulling the chin into your chest, we're gonna roll through, coming all the way down to the floor. From here, I want you to walk your hands forward. So we're gonna roll into a roll down plank, find that long head, neck, spine, cores engage or stiffen, and then walk yourself back towards your feet. Chest to the thighs, head is hanging, and slowly roll yourself up. Now as you roll up, I want you to stack your spine one vertebra at a time, trying to find an even taller, more stacked upright posture as you get to the top. Let's take a deep breath in, opening through the front side of the body, and then exhale, go ahead and pull the chin into your chest, rolling down again. Again, taking your time, just letting the weight of the head and the hands bring you all the way to the floor. Once you get there, soften your knees. Now you could hang out there if you want to stay there for a moment, or coming with me, find that nice plank, right? So find that stiffened core, shoulders over your wrist, hips are in alignment with the body. So we're just starting to get all of that primed and working for these next stretches we're going to do. Again, roll it up. Stacking your spine one vertebra at a time. And again, as you come up, inhale, reaching up, open through the front side of the body. And again, exhale, last time, pulling the chin into your chest, rolling through. All the way down to the floor. Bend your knees when you need to. Let the head hang heavy. And then walk yourself forward again, finding that beautiful long plank. Now we're going to move through just a couple of more active stretches here. You're going to find a V pose or down dog and then come forward into that high plank. Okay, so sending the hips up, heels down, and then bringing your hips back forward. Now if that's too much, you can take it from child's pose into that modified plank as well. Taking two more. Really feel the stretch in your hamstrings. And then one more. And then from here, go ahead and find that nice strong plank. Release the knees to the floor, untuck your toes, bring those hands underneath your shoulders, and now we're going to come into cat-cow. So again, of course, posture has a lot to do with your hips, your shoulders, your spine. So we're going to start to prime the spine, just getting some mobility through all of those joints. Inhaling, hollow out the belly. Exhale, tuck in around the hips. And again, inhale. And exhale. Good. Taking a couple more. So really finding the opening through the chest, through the belly. Exhale as you round, you're separating those shoulder blades. And again, inhale. And exhale. Good. And then from here, taking the hips back to the heels. Now, a lot of posture, we have really tight chest. Also, your back is either overstretched or really tight. So we're just going to start to, again, roll forward, continuing with that stretching of the spine, the rhomboids. Take the hips back to the heels. Do this two more times. And take the hips back to the heels. And one more. Good. Now we're going to move between a child's pose to a downward dog or V pose. So you're going to come forward, stack your shoulders, tuck your toes, lift your hips, find that V pose, and just hold here for 2 breaths. Inhaling through your nose, really finding the stretch and the length in the hamstrings, right? So if you sit a lot, your hips get tight, your hamstrings get really tight, and then come forward, release your knees, and then exhale back to that child's pose. Good. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, come forward, shoulders over the wrists, tuck your toes, lift your hips, find that V pose, down dog, stretching through the back side of the legs, feeling that nice stretch through the front side of the body. And again, coming forward, release the knees to the floor, untuck your toes, go ahead and send your hips back into a child's pose. And from here, one final time. Inhale as you come forward, tuck your toes, lift your hips, find that down dog V pose. Now this time you're going to start to walk the dog. So again, we're stretching through your calves, still finding the stretch through your hamstrings. Of course, when we stretch, we're stretching our muscles, but also our fascia. Okay, and your fascia runs in trains or in long lines. So even though your hamstrings might be tight, it could be because of tight calves as well. So you always want to focus on stretching those long lines. Taking 2 more. And 1 more. Good. Bringing both feet down. Now I want you to look forward. You're going to step your back foot right between your hands. Now you're going to release the back knee to the floor and untuck your toes. From here, sweeping those arms up, coming into a low lunge, opening from the front side of the hip. So when you're doing this, it's really important to squeeze that glute. Think about opening through the hip flexor, through the front side of the body. Don't just open and arch the back. Really focus on where that stretch is supposed to be. Staying here for another inhale. Good. Now bring those hands down. We're going to come into another stretch for those hamstrings. So what you're doing is you're hinging forward at your hips, okay? You can send your chest forward. Try to find the length in the spine. Now, if it's just a little bit too much, you can use, of course, a prop. You can use a chair, but you really want to make sure you're not rounding your spine. You're keeping a nice long line so that you're hinging at your hips, feeling the length there. And then go ahead and come forward. So again, bending, tucking those hips under. Keep those hips square to the front, reaching all the way up through the front side. And from here, option, elbow comes down. So this is going to give you a deeper stretch into that hip flexor. Taking your shoulders down away from your ears. Take another full breath. Always just listening to your body, stay present. And then from here, taking the hand down to the inside. Now I want you to push on the inside of that leg. So you're sending that knee out just a little bit, or you can come down. So you're getting a little bit more of a stretch through that inner thigh. And then from here, release it and send your hips back. Okay, so now again, just finding that stretch through your hamstring. Okay, long lines here. And now we're going to come back forward one more time, bending that front knee, sweep those arms all the way up, squeezing, opening again. So if you sit a lot, that gives us sometimes our bad posture. So really focusing on opening those hip flexors is going to be key. Now, option to stay here. I'm going to give you a couple variations for a quad stretch. Okay, option to stay here, grab for your quad, or excuse me, your foot, or you can take the hips down and stretch the quad this way. So this might be a better option. Just make sure to listen to your body. Okay, so if you're here, you're pulling your hips forward, feeling the stretch through the front side of the body. Now, typically, if we sit a lot, our glutes a lot of times will stop firing. Therefore, our quads get the most of the work. They do most of the work. So it's really important when focusing on posture to stretch those quads as well. And make sure you're keeping that proud chest. If you have even more flexibility, you can take it all the way down to the floor. Make sure though you're not getting any stress in the knee. Good. And then from here, let's swing that leg around while we're here, lifting up, walking yourself forward. Okay, so again, coming into that forward fold, finding the length in the back side of the legs, finding length in the lower back as well. Keeping a nice, proud chest here. Make sure you're breathing through the nose and just staying present with your body. Take another inhale, lifting through your heart. Exhale, forward fold. And then from here, go ahead and roll it up. So now we're just gonna come into an exercise that has to do with mobility for your hips. So it's really good to throw in some mobility moves with some flexibility and stretching. So you're just rocking side to side, coming into some movement for that joint. Taking 2 more and 1 more. Beautiful. And then from here, just swinging your legs around. Again, coming into our next side. So tuck the toes, lift the hips, find that downward dog. You're gonna look forward, step that back foot forward. Go ahead and release your back knee to the floor. Walk your hands up. Again, tuck those hips under. Make sure those hips are squared to the front. And then lifting through the front side of the body. Shoulders down away from your ears. Again, not important to go deep. More important to tuck and open. Breathing through that nose. And then inhale, exhale, go ahead and send your hips back. Now, if you don't have the flexibility, you can just hinge here, right? This is a great place to be. If you can bring the hands down, you can do it leaning over that leg as well. If you have even more flexibility, you can bring the chest down towards your thighs. But really important you get the stretch in that hamstring. Take another inhale. And then coming forward, sweep those arms up, reaching through. Again, make sure those hips are squared to the front, feeling the opening through the hip flexor, which connects to that low back. So if you feel like you have low back pain, a lot of times it could be because of these tight hip flexors. So it's really important when you're sitting and standing, you're focusing on that posture, just becoming aware of how you're standing and how you're sitting. And then go ahead and bring the arms down, taking the hands to the inside. So again, allowing that hand to come over, and I'll show you from the front. So it's pushing on that inner thigh, right? So you can come here, or you can even come down a little bit lower. Really just depends on your own ability and flexibility, right? So staying here, couple of deep breaths, and then stay here, and this time coming back again, right? So each movement forward and back, hopefully you'll see a progression. You'll see yourself opening up just a little bit more. And when it comes to stretching, it's really good to hold and breathe into stretches. Again, stretching has to do with muscles, but also your fascia. So fascia takes a little bit more time to release as you stretch. And then coming forward again, one last time. Noticing where you feel in your body, lifting your heart, right? So option to stay here. Remember, we stretch that quad, reaching back, grabbing for that foot. Now remember, if you need to, you release it and you come down, okay? So there's always a variation for everybody. Most importantly is you're not feeling any pain in the knee. And if you're coming back, you're squeezing and lifting the hips, okay? So you want to feel the stretch through the front side of that body. Keep that chest lifted, that heart stays open here. Pressing down. Remember, you can always come back further depending on your level of flexibility. So stay here. Breathe. Keep breathing and stretching, right? So this muscle, again, a lot of times it takes over for those glutes, so it can get really tight. So you might want to hold it a little bit longer than you do stretching your glutes. And then go ahead and come all the way up. Taking that leg, swing it around, making that number 4, right? So again, coming back into a forward fold, sitting up nice and tall, and then hinging forward at your hips. Letting the energy shoot out the top of the head. Remember, the goal is to keep a flat back as long as you can, hinging forward, and then maybe at the end, if you have the flexibility, you can round forward, but you want to make sure the stretch stays in the hamstring. Staying here again for another full inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. And then from here, just rolling it up, finding that 90-90. Let's take another round for the mobility. This is actually one of my favorite exercises for hip mobility. Getting, basically what it does, it helps to lubricate the joint. So of course you get the stretch and then you get the lubrication. It's going to help those hips stay super healthy. Taking 2 more. And last round. Beautiful. And then from here, let's swing those legs around again. So we're going to come into a little bit of a flow. Now when you're looking for great posture, you want to make sure you're keeping a nice, broad, open chest. Those hips are in proper alignment. What happens a lot of times is we hunch over, either typing or texting. So a lot of this closes off, our diaphragm shuts off. We don't get the proper breathing patterns either. So we're going to work through coming into just a little bit of a flow to open the front side of the body as well. So taking the toes, tucking them under, you're going to find that down dog or V pose. And then from here, I want you to release the knees to the floor, lower knees, chest, and chin, coming into a baby cobra. Okay, so just holding here, shoulders sliding down away from your ears. A lot of times, because we're so rounded forward, our back is not working. So just lifting through the heart, and stretching the front side. And then release down, push back, find another down dog or V pose. You could also do this from a child's pose. So again, come forward, find a nice high plank we did earlier. Go ahead and lower knees, chest, chin, slide those elbows alongside the body. Inhale, come into a baby cobra. Yes, working, using that back, and then come down, push back. Now we're gonna go through the same thing. If that is where you're at today, please feel free to do it again, or going a little bit deeper into the stretch. We're gonna lower into a chaturanga, up dog. Tucking those toes, pressing through the palms. And then from here, pushing back, untuck. Option to do that one more time, or even if you want, you can come into a seal, which is a little bit different. It's more of a relaxed pose, but the goal is to get the opening through the front side of the body and then push back, this time pushing it into a child's pose. So from here, we're going to come forward and lower ourselves all the way down to the floor. Again, now when it comes to posture, a lot of it has to do with either weak backs or tight backs. So we're just going to do a couple of things to open the chest, but also to engage and work the back. So I want you to lift through, just squeezing your glutes, lifting those arms, and then reach the hands back. Just trying to activate the back side of the body. Go ahead and bring them forward and release. Let it go. Let's do that 2 more times. From here, long neck, head, and spine. Lift it up. Reach it back. Shoulder blades sending down away from the ears. Glutes are firing. Bring it forward and release. Maybe rock your hips side to side. You can take your head down to your palms. We're going to do that 1 more time. Again, lifting and reaching, pulling those hands back towards your toes. Remember, energy shooting up the top of the head, shoulders sliding down and back. Now, if that's too much, you could even just come back to that baby cobra as well. And then coming forward and release. Just take your head down for a moment. Rock your hips side to side. Beautiful. From here, taking the hands underneath, push all the way back, coming into a child's pose. So we're going to stretch the lateral side of the body as well, taking those toes together. Knees are wide. You're going to take your hands towards me. So you're going to find a lateral stretch. So starting to get into the obliques, the lats. So a lot of times these can be really tight. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, walk through center, come towards the back wall. Same thing, other side. Now make sure your hips aren't moving. You're keeping those toes together. Knees are wide. Beautiful. And then from here, coming back to center. Go ahead and come all the way forward again. And now we're gonna sweep our legs around. So we're gonna do a couple of stretches for your glutes and your adductors. We're gonna come into as well. But what I want you to work on is a number 4, okay? So sitting up nice and tall, we're just gonna get that glute to start to open up, lifting through your heart. Now, options to stay here. You can, of course, have a nice upright posture, or if you want, you can also bring this down to the floor, reaching through, grabbing the hamstring or the shin, okay? So just trying to get that glute to wake up, options to floss that hip, rocking it side to side here. Make sure you're breathing. Of course, we want to always stretch the back, stretch the chest, stretch the hips when we're talking about posture. So we're going to take it into a spinal twist. Now, option is to cross the legs here, or you can send one down. And all you're doing is you're taking that opposite arm away. And that leg is going to pull you into that twist. Remember, it's really important you're not forcing any of these stretches. And if you want, you can also just send the bottom leg down, coming into a more modified version of this stretch. Keep the shoulder away from the ear, keep that opposite shoulder down, because again, we're stretching the chest as we come into finding good posture. Inhaling through your nose and exhale. Good. Sending that leg down. Pull that knee into your chest. Now we're going to open it to the side. So a lot of times if we have seated posture or bad posture, our adductors are a little bit tight. So we're going to stretch the adductors, just opening to the side. This is option 1. If you feel like you want a little bit of a deeper stretch, you can grab for your big toe or grab for your calf and send the leg out to the side as well. But the goal is to get that inner thigh to stretch. Make sure, again, you're not forcing it, you're just letting it happen. Breathing naturally here. And then go ahead and sweep that leg down. Bend both knees, pull both knees into your chest. So we're just gonna massage the back, right? A lot of times if we have bad posture, our back takes a lot of the load. So just massaging the back. And then you're gonna come all the way up, finding the other side. So option is to stay seated, right? So you're just taking that number 4 position. And also take note, what's happening in your body is one glute tighter than the other. Always trying to find balance is the goal. Now, option is to stay upright or rolling it back, finding that nice stretch in that glute. Remember, option is to floss the hip, just rock it side to side, making sure you're taking moments and just breathing. Always try to find it in the glute. Beautiful. Taking 2 more breaths here. Awesome. And then option is to send the leg down or cross those legs over. Bring those knees towards me. Take that opposite shoulder down. Again, you're not forcing it. You're just allowing that stretch to happen. Really key to get that opposite shoulder down, opening through that chest. Variation would be to lengthen through that bottom leg. Okay, so finding what works for you. Remember, you're always just being mindful, trying not to force any stretches, coming back to the breath, and always breathing through your nose is going to be the best way to get you into that restful state. Good. So from here, sending that bottom leg down. If it's not already, you're going to pull the leg across, adjust your hips. So again, you're finding that inner thigh stretch. I'm still spine straight, standing from the toes all the way through the top of the head. I've brought that knee out to the side. Remember, you can extend if you want to send the leg out. If you have that flexibility, feel free to go there. Right, so opening through both sides of the body. Taking another full breath in through your nose. And exhale, release. Sending that foot down. So while we're here, we're going to activate your glutes and open your hips. So a lot of times, like I was saying earlier, bad posture has to do with tight hip flexors, changing the positioning of the hips, and then also your chest or your shoulders as well. So we're going to activate your glutes, get those glutes to fire, coming into a bridge. So placing your feet hip distance apart, heels to the floor, heels are down on the floor, and then just starting with the base of the hips, feeling those lower abs engage, pushing into the floor, lifting through, coming up, keeping your head on the floor. Squeeze your glutes, reaching for those toes. And while we're here, we're just going to lower and lift for 6. Trying to activate those glutes, which is going to help with really great posture. Last 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Inhale through your nose, roll all the way down, placing each vertebra down. And then again, once you get to the bottom, let's do that again one more time. Pressing into the heels, rolling up through the spine, lifting up, holding. Again, we're going to fire those glutes, lower and lift for 6, down and up for 5, keeping your rib cage closed for 4, 3, 2, and then hold it up on 1. Really squeeze and hold. Option to stay here if you want. You can again get a little added bonus, opening through the front side of the body, interlacing those fingers, pressing into those heels, keeping that core nice and stiffened. Inhale through your nose. If you have your hands interlocked, release your hands and lower it down, one vertebra at a time. And then from here, just windshield wiper your legs side to side. Windshield wiper, keeping the head down. Beautiful. Taking 2 more. And 1 more. And then from here, come back to center. Go ahead and pull both knees into the chest. Rock and roll forward and back, massaging that spine. And come all the way up. So facing me, we're going to do some stretches for that upper body now as well. Again, posture has to do with your hips, your spine, your upper body. So shoulders down away from the ears. I just want you to start to rock and open and close those arms forward and back. So as you come back, thumbs up. Good. Taking a few more, try to relax the neck. And from here, taking it back. Thumbs up, open through the heart. Good. And then come forward and open. Lift. Exhale for 4. Round your spine. Inhale, exhale, open for 3. Exhale, open for 2. And again, up and open for 1. Good, and then taking the arms out to the sides. Inhale through your nose, exhale, stretching through the side body. So we're gonna come into some side bends, some spinal twists, just getting that nice, beautiful upright posture. From here, taking it over to the other side. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. And then take it up and over. This time I want to activate those lats and those rhomboids, right? So pull and stretch. Really trying to get those muscles to fire. Those are muscles that help with good posture. 2 more. Up and over. And yes, hold it there. Reach. And then inhale through your nose. Exhale, you're going to swing that arm up and over, and you're going to come into a spinal twist. Sitting up nice and tall, looking towards the back wall if you can. Sending the energy out through the top of that head. And then from here, taking it all the way to the other side. Looking under that arm, pulling that elbow down, right? So you're stretching the lat, but you're also activating the rhomboid, the lat, up and over. Give me 2 more. And 1 more. And hold. Look under that elbow. Try to relax the shoulder away from your ear. Inhale. Exhale up. And you cartwheel that arm. Find that spinal twist. So again, sitting up nice and tall. Nice, beautiful spinal twist here. So of course, creating mobility through the spine is going to help. Just finding that awareness there as well. And then inhale through your nose. As you exhale, let's just take a couple of twists side to side. Inhale, exhale again, switch. Inhale, exhale, switch. And again, 2 more. Exhale, switch. And 1 more. Good. And then coming back to center. From here, let's take another opening for your chest, right? So you're bringing your shoulders down away from your ears. Option to interlace those fingers. Try to open through the front side of the body. From here, option is to hinge forward. Now, you don't have to take the option. It's there for you if it feels good. If not, just keeping those arms pressing back, trying to find that stretch through your chest. And then from here, if you're not folded forward, coming forward, stretching the lower erectors, taking the head down, feeling that stretch over those legs. And then from here, walking your hands up, taking your hands to your knees, rolling it up. Now we're going to come through some spinal rolls. A lot of times our head comes forward a lot because we're texting or typing, so it has to do with our posture as well. So I want to end with the awareness in the head and the neck, coming into a nice opening stretch. Exhale, pull the chin into your chest. And then hands come to your shins. Just find that stretch again in the spine. Inhale, exhale, sitting up nice and tall, all the way up. And exhale, chin pulls into the chest. And then sit it up nice and tall. From here, let's take our head over to the side. So again, of course, your spine is connected to your head neck, right? So of course, when it comes to sitting up and standing up nice and tall, you want to make sure you've got a nice posture within the neck as well. So we're going to stretch some of those muscles just coming forward and around. Taking the head to the other shoulder. Inhale, exhale, down and around. And then coming again down and around, this time all the way back. Come down and around, we'll switch sides. All the way back. And down and around. And then coming back to center. Take 1 more deep full breath. Roll through the spine. We're going to end with that beautiful seated up posture. Stack your spine 1 vertebra at a time, sitting up nice and tall. Let's take those shoulders down away from your ears for 4, 3, 2, and palms come up. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, release. And again, nice, beautiful straight spine. Inhale. And last one, deepest, fullest breath into the belly, bringing those hands into your heart. And you did it. Thank you very much. Beautiful work today. My name again is Michelle Opperman with FitPros, and this was your stretching for good posture. Hope you enjoyed it and hope to see you soon. Have a good one.